Hello everyone, it is 9 p.m. so we all know what that means. Unfortunately for me, that means it's time for me to get my ass kicked because I was not practicing. I should have been. I usually do that before a new game drops like Call of Duty because there's so many previous games to like practice on, which are kind of like carbon copies in a way. I really should have been playing Modern Warfare 2019, but I wasn't. I was too busy focusing on I guess my job. I guess you would call it my job. Yep, my job. Yep, me trying to earn money and keep up that financial independence. But yeah. So I guess it's slightly good that it's happening now because that means people that got off work and remember they bought this game are on right now as opposed to if it was in the morning, like 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. where people where it's their job or people who are playing this game and they really shouldn't be, or people like me where we don't have no I'm not playing a game that's already started. Or like me where I don't have a normal job, so I can afford to play it in the morning because my work is with me, like where I go. Yep. So I guess in other means, in case you haven't been really watching, and I don't blame you if you haven't been watching, there's a video with the black thumbnail I think you should go look at. I have an update on that. I actually was able to figure out the whole issue with that. It was a really stupid me confusing myself. There was actually Numa like the song, but anyway, so I did figure out like what to do. Like gain.gg, I can actually get Amazon cards from there. So the whole issue that I was running in where it was really convoluted and I didn't need to do all that to get the cards no longer is an issue. So I should be able to get them very quickly. I mean, I won't be able to have them physically, but I'll be able to get them hopefully quickly. I haven't actually withdrawn from gain.gg, but I think the whole issue's been fixed. So yeah, go to that video with the black thumbnail or whatever. All right, here we go. Wait, you just started without me. What is this? Well, like, yeah, just, what? What is, are we not supposed to go through here? But like, yeah, so if you go to that video with the black thumbnail and, yeah, just, ask for something. People already jump shotting and shit. Man, I thought this was a 0 KD lobby. Everyone should be new. Oh, ooh, give me that. What the fuck? This game just came out, you motherfucker. How you already have this gun, like, camoed and shit? Asshole. People I was talking about before, I guess. What up? But, what else can I talk about? I always wanted to do a financial TED Talk. Maybe I should do that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my impromptu TED Talk. I would like to welcome you all to talk about this financial prosperity we find ourselves in the period where everyone talks about nothing but financial apocalypse. I want you all to know that there are financial opportunities everywhere that you can take advantage of. Oh, whoa! What's up, bitch? Oh, God! Why did you not kill me? This map is so goddamn confusing. Is this what Asia's like? Where was I? Oh, yes. In this period of economic collapse, inflation, supply chain issues, there are plenty of opportunities to be had and plenty of money to be made. You only need to take a second to stop and take advantage of these opportunities for yourself. And so, it's just stupid. So basically, guys, I do stocks. I invest in shares, equities, speculative assets, not property yet. I will hopefully take care of that eventually one day. Oh, all right. I don't know what the fuck. What am I doing? So basically, my job means that, I just invest. So that gives me a lot of opportunities to, have a lot of free time to be doing things like this. And you don't have to worry about waking up for a 95! Why am I doing this well? What is going on? But basically, guys, I always want to make a tip video on like what I do because I mostly invest in like growth stocks. I don't invest in any I don't invest in any bonds or anything like that. But I mostly buy solo shares. Of course, there's if you're new to trading, I would highly this is very tough to concentrate. I would highly recommend you guys you guys invest in something like maybe an index fund or something like that. Maybe a mutual fund. ETFs are different, like exchange traded funds. It's very different than an index fund or a mutual fund. What? Actually, there's no like hit marker in that sound. But so exchange traded fund is kind of just like a basket of like it's like just a basket of like individual stocks kind of collected together, and you're kind of just buying something that's like using all of them. Oh. But a mutual fund or an index fund, someone actually manages that. So So I would highly recommend getting an index fund or a mutual fund or investing it in those. So, you know, there's less pressure on you to actually, you know, do the research on your own. Jesus. I'm so fucking slow. I forgot. This is like, oh God. This is like a less effective juggernaut. What up? Come on. Eat it. Something. Oh God. Burn. All of you. All of you burn! I don't think they had electric guitars back then, but okay. Interesting. Not a great map for it, I must say. But yeah, so if you're new to investing, definitely use a mutual fund or an index fund. You know, it's kind of like squares and rectangles where, like, you know, they're not exactly the same thing. I think not all indexes, it's called, all index funds are mutual funds, but not all mutual funds are index funds, I believe. So, oh God. So yeah, definitely start with that because there's less pressure on you to do the research, I suppose is what I mean to say. Oh. God, oh. But once you're more confident in like your investing skills, because, oh, nice, hiding in a corner. But basically someone manages that fund. So, you know, there's less pressure on you to do all the research. Of course, do look up the stocks within that mutual fund or index fund because, you know, you want to make sure that you can have confidence. Oh, you can have confidence in those corporations. You're familiar with them. You know the product they sell, and you somewhat understand like what's being offered by that share, or like what the corporation that, you know, that share represents, the stock represents, in like what they do. Like, you know, Apple stock, you know what Apple products are. Coca-Cola stock, like, you know what Coca-Cola does. And you know, like, they're pretty mainstream or whatever, or like, oh God. Oh God. Oh God. My terrible accuracy. So, like, you know, when you find an index fund, definitely research. I'm gonna take my hair thing off. So when you have, like, you know, when you find, like, for example, the Vanguard, I think it's VGT, the Vanguard Information Technology Fund. I believe it's like, you know, it's majority. Oh, what? This is interesting. What? Oh, it wasn't me? Wait, that's play. Oh wait, Final Kill or Play the Game. Which one is it? I don't understand. Oh God. Is it me? This is interesting. It's all the same? Maybe we'll change that one day. Interesting. Wait, I just vote for myself? I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I'm not a tyrant, or what's it called? But I guess, what? We just vote? What is this? It's so useless. What? I don't get it. Okay. All right, we're all learning this on our own, I guess, one step at a time. But great. I don't know what I did. I probably just, there's definitely skill-based matchmaking, so I definitely just screw things up for myself by performing that well. Well, oh well. But anyways, back to the financial talk. So, basically, if you're new to investing, I highly recommend, you know, first step, you know, you have to set up your investment account with a credible source. So, you know, as funny as the memes are, you know, Webull and Robinhood are funny and all, but, you know, definitely TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, definitely. A majority of my equities, or, you know, my stocks are with them. So, you know, I've had nothing, you know, no problems with them at all. Like, the interface might be a little bit tricky at first, but, you know, no problems with them. They have, you know, they wire my money on time. They buy the shares I request on time, you know, and promptly too. So, you know, if you can, I think TD Ameritrade is very easy to set up an account with. You just need like your social security and whatnot if you're in the United States and whatever. So I think Charles Schwab and Fidelity, they might actually ask for more documentation if I remember correctly. So, you know, just pick from those. Do not, like, more accredited investment firms, not, you know, the meme firms is what I call them. And definitely before you start investing, guys, just know that the stock market is actually, like, it is the biggest casino in the world. You know, you are gambling. You know, you can do as much research as you want, but at the end of the day, there's a ton of factors outside your control, and you are gambling. So, you know, just know that, you know, there's a lot outside your control. And so, you know, things go wrong, and, you know, sometimes they do go wrong. Like, you know, it unfortunately does happen. So, you know, just know that when you have money in the market, you know, you might need to like, it's always good to go with the mindset that, you know, you kind of forget about that money. Like, you can't do much of that money. You don't want to sell your shares, so you can't really touch them. So you just leave them there. So, you know, when you invest money, just always be prepared with the fact that you could lose it. Second tip, never invest more than you can afford to lose. Before you invest, I highly recommend that you guys have some form of emergency fund set aside. I want to say at least a month to 2 months of living expenses. If you live with your parents, then, you know, maybe if I mean $1,000 is a lot of money, but just have something like a few hundred to $1,000 in emergency money, just to know you have that there. And then once you have that, then you can start investing. And also diversify. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. Like, I talked about Apple shares. Don't just go 100% to Apple. Like, there might be other stuff out there. Like, diversification. What's it called? What did Warren Buffett say? I think he said, concentrating builds wealth and diversification protects it. So I just say go with diversification to start off with, because you never know if you're picking a winner or not. No matter how much research you do, things could always fall flat on its face. So, definitely diversify. I recommend at least 3 to 4 stocks should be your portfolio. I mean, you can have way more than that, but I say you should have at least 3 to 4 should be like, the buildup of your portfolio. And it could be, 30, 20, 25, 25. It could be whatever split you want. Just make sure nothing takes up more than maybe 40% of your portfolio. That's just my recommendation. I guess I kind of want to say that, it's not like this isn't just coming out of nowhere. I do have experience a little bit, at least. I've been doing this for about 2 to 3 years. I have 2 main portfolios. The Schwab one has all of my shares, like, my equities and my stock. And then I have a speculative asset, basically cryptocurrency. That's my Coinbase account. And, they've been doing reasonably well, both of them. I really can't complain. But, again, this is, a stimulus bull run market. So, you really can't, anyone can be a savvy, wise investor. But I basically just have, like, if you're about to invest, the thing I can say is when you're about to invest, you need to do, I want to say, you want to look at 5 things. Okay, so the first thing you want to look at is the mission of the company. You want to know, what they plan to do, what they hope to do, and basically what does the company stand for. Second, you want to look at what the bulls are saying, because you always want to, you don't want to start with negativity. So start with what the bulls are saying, why they're bullish, why they think the stock is a good buy. Then go to the bears. What are the short sellers thinking? Like, what do they think is wrong with it? Because usually because they're sleuthing, like they're digging for stuff which is detrimental to the company. They're going to find things where the company, if it's being, I should say, fraudulent, what they don't want you to find. So definitely look at that. Third, look at what mainstream media is saying, like Yahoo Finance, Market Watch, the Wall Street Journal. See what they're saying, because there's a lot of money with the Gen X and baby boomers. That demographic shift has not happened yet. The young Gen X, the millennials, and eventually the Zoomers are not inheriting anything yet. So a lot of money is still concentrated in the older generations. So, and they tend to, not all the time, of course, they tend to steer towards old forms of media, like television and stuff like that. Online articles, things like that. Like, I'm not saying like that's an old people thing, but I guess they generally tend to stick there if you actually like research this. So they look towards older forms of media. So definitely, like, don't sleep on that. Like, look to see what mainstream media is saying about a certain stock, whether or not they're saying it's favorable or not, because what they say might influence where that old money is going, whether or not it goes in or it's pulling out. So, definitely look for that. And then I guess next is look at what the, I'm going to say the minority investor is looking at. Look to see what, like, Reddit, whatever other financial forums you can find, or if there's actually like a low-key investment forum or whatever you can find, see what they're saying. People are taking time out of their day to post paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of their own, like, due diligence and like what they found. Then that must mean something. So maybe they're finding something that you don't see. So definitely look at that as well. And then the final tip is it's really, I mean, it is such like a cliche thing, but it's up to you then to make the final judgment call. So for example, I guess I'll break it down with what I did with Tesla, because that's my most recent purchase. So I started off with their mission. So their mission is, to essentially, based on what, I'm looking at from a financial standpoint. So an investor standpoint. So like they're looking to replace all, fossil fuel, diesel, crude oil vehicles with electric vehicle counterparts. So that's their mission. And that's has a lot of potential, because like for every one of us, there's probably dozens of vehicles out there that run on crude oil. So they're looking to replace all of them. There's decades and decades worth of potential there. So I was already, not only for the environmental impact, but also because, there's so much potential there. They have so much room to grow that, it's not an issue. Like as long as the promises are upheld, and, they have been held relatively, over the past, if you look at it from like the last 10 years, sometimes, what's it called? Checkpoints have not been met, or what's promises have not been actually kept, but they have been fully committed to, and they actually do perform on them. So they have been operating well, and I do see a lot of future potential there to grow, especially as the legacy automakers start falling behind, especially the EV marketplace. And then I looked at next, like, what did the bulls say? Bulls, of course, very bullish. They think that it's going to change the world. I could get into that, but I want to get into what the bears were saying, like the short sellers. So Jim Chanos, I'll start with him. So, or maybe we'll just go just only with him. So his main argument was that, you know, BMW, Nissan, Toyota, Porsche, like all these legacy automakers are coming out with their own EVs, and, you know, they're stylish, you know, trustworthy, brand name, like, you know, people know this brand, they love this brand. It has staying power, you know, Tesla's the new kid on the block, like, you know, the old legacy automakers are basically gonna run Tesla, you know, out of the marketplace, you know, with their own EVs. And, you know, that's a valid, you know, point to take, because, you know, Tesla is new, they are the new guys. There is still a lot of demand for the legacy automaker cars, you know, they are, especially the luxury brands. But I think what they don't do is they don't consider what I saw in the mission. You know, when I mentioned the whole, like, potential thing, like, you know, they're saying that, you know, legacy automakers are going to eat into Tesla's market share, but that market share is continually growing. Like, let's say legacy automakers are like, you know, big fish in the ocean, and then Tesla's like a big fish in a pond. Like, they're looking to take the water out of that pond, but what they don't realize is that there's another channel of, you know, funneling water from the ocean into Tesla's pond. Like, you know, they're in the ocean, they're in the marketplace, which is being devoured by Tesla's EVs. You know, so Tesla has room to grow, and then the legacy automakers, in my opinion, are more so like sustaining what they already have. That's in my opinion. Like, if you look at the numbers, and I forgot what the actual percentage was, but the actual amount of like production that these legacy automakers are allocating to actual electric vehicle production is such a small fractional percentage of their overall, like, you know, vehicles that run on fossil fuel. So, like, it's such a half-hearted effort that, you know, they're not even really trying. You know, I'm assuming it's because they don't want to cannibalize their own, you know, current market share, which is, you know, crude oil or, like, you know, fossil fuel vehicles. You know, it's kind of like Kodak in the past. Anyone here remember Kodak, like the old giant film company, which is no longer a giant film company. It's very, you know, it's much smaller. They had an opportunity to, like, dominate the digital camera marketplace, but a majority of their earnings were based on film. Like, you know, people had to buy film for their cameras, and that's where a lot of, you know, Kodak's revenue was coming from, was people buying film for the cameras they already owned. But, you know, with a digital camera, you buy it and then that's it. Like, you know, it's a digital camera. Like, you buy it, you upload your photos, you don't have to buy film anymore. So Kodak didn't want to cannibalize their market share, which was super lucrative at the time, of their film cameras. So they fell behind. You know, Sony digital cameras, all these other digital cameras came out, you know, from different companies all over the place, and Kodak had to basically do catch up, and they didn't. They fell behind, and they were supplanted, and now, you know, no one really knows about Kodak anymore. So I do think that's a similar situation with the legacy automakers and Tesla. So, you know, definitely consider what the bears and the short sellers are saying, but then counter it, you know, in the final step with your own analysis. Like, what do you see on the ground? And so, you know, I looked at mainstream media, and, you know, the more left-leaning news stations, of course, are more positive on Tesla, and, you know, they're more bullish on Tesla because, you know, they have to push their agenda of pro-environmental. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything like that. It's just, you know, their agenda. And then, of course, you know, the more conservative don't even talk about it because, you know, their money is more vested in crude oil. So, you know, they're not going to push something which will, you know, eventually potentially replace them. So, and then the smaller ones, I look at Reddit. Like, you know, that's just me. You could look at any, you know, smaller economic forums, whatever you want to look at. You may not actually understand the terminology, but, you know, definitely start your research there and, you know, look up the terms. You know, I did that too. You know, when it comes to like cash flow, what's it called? Oh God, I'm not doing the two types of inflation, cost push. I'm not doing a good job of validating myself. I can't think right now, but too much in my brain right now. But look up the terms. Oh, whoops. Look up the terms and definitely, like, you know, try to understand things as, you know, they come and go. And just, you know, eventually the more you practice, the more you read up on them, the longer you, like, you know, potentially integrate it in your own vocabulary, then, you know, you understand it more, you know, it just comes naturally. So, and once you've done all that, you know, then collect everything you've learned, put it all together, and, you know, match it with what you see on the ground. That's what I did with Tesla. I saw, like, what was on the ground, you know, what I saw. Like, my uncle bought a Porsche Taycan, so I saw the bear's perspective, because the Porsche Taycan's a beautiful car. But then, like, I see a Tesla, I mean, I am in the Bay Area, but I see a Tesla, you know, Model S, or, you know, I see Teslas all over the place here in the Bay Area. I see them charging at, you know, what's it called, and not strip malls, but, like, you know, open shopping centers. I see them charging. So, you know, Teslas are in demand. People are buying them, and, you know, they're coming up in the news again, you know, like I mentioned before. Like, people are talking about them, and people are talking about, you know, buying the EV. Like, my parents want to buy hybrids or EVs. Like, they want to replace their crude oil cars with that. So, you know, I see what's happening on the ground, you know, of course, in my own little bubble, but, you know, you got to start somewhere. And then, you know, when you collect all that, then make the decision of whether or not you want to buy. And then, oh, sorry, I should have put this in the final tip. So when you make all this, you need to definitely make sure you separate speculation and rumors from, like, you know, what's in the books, like earnings, like the hard numbers, and what people have actually said, like, you know, in videos or, you know, in posts or whatever. You gotta see what what actually has been said versus what maybe has been said and what maybe is gonna happen. So you gotta put all that together and then, you know, make your, you know, your decision to invest from there. But you know, Tesla's been very good. It just crossed 1,200 not too long ago. I unfortunately sold some at 908, so that was a bad thing. But I bought in at like 380 after the stock split, so it's been very, very fruitful. The video's been really good, just past 300 today. I looked at the semiconductor demand and, you know, what they bring to the table. You know, AMD and NVIDIA supplanting Intel and whatnot. So, you know, I made the call based on that. Apple, you know, despite the issues with, you know, future growth being an issue because, you know, they dominated, you know, not only like the smartphone, but also, you know, the electronic sector for so long that, you know, there's only so much more room for them to grow. There's only so many Apple products you can buy, you know, per person. But, you know, I do see, like, I call it the, I call it Asian LA. Like, that's basically East Asia, like, you know, China, Korea, a little bit of Japan, I think. But it's like you have to have the most current electronic, the best clothing, the most name brand stuff. You have to have it. It's an image issue over there. So people are actually getting in debt to get this stuff based on what I've seen, you know, of channels that, you know, sleuth through, you know, posts on Weibo and, like, you know, all these, like, you know, Asian only, like, equivalents to like Twitter and stuff like that or whatever. So, you know, I look at that and see, you know, what I of course can't read it, so I trust their translation, but I see what they say, like, what do people want? What do people like? Are they really buying it? Are people actually getting into debt to buy these? And they are actually getting in debt to keep buying the new Apple iPhone, the new, you know, the new iPad, the new MacBook. They're actually still doing that. More AirPods, tons of AirPods. And, you know, even in China, like when there's a push to buy made in China, like we have, you know, made in the USA here, people are still buying Apple products. So I do see the Chinese consumer still being a major buoy for Apple. So that's why I'm still in Apple. I haven't sold yet because, you know, for now at least, there's still heavy demand for Apple products. So I don't see an issue with their future growth. So again, like, I have Apple products. I just bought a new iPhone 12, you know, not too long ago, just because I don't have to have the 13, but, you know, the 12 is great. I like it. So, you know, I like Apple products, and, you know, my friends do too. We all have Apple products. So, you know, what I see on the ground, you know, kind of reinforces what I'm thinking, you know. So again, you gotta collect all that together, and then once you know, put them all out in a chart, you know, the pros and the cons, see if you know, once you have it all in front of you, read through it a few times and see, am I actually really, like, super convinced I want to make this move? If there's any doubt in your mind at all, then, you know, hold off. You know, if you're not entirely sure, you can't fully commit, don't do it, because, you know, that anxiety is going to eat you alive. And then once, you know, if you make profit like me, I highly suggest that you definitely sell some. Not all of it. Do not sell 100% of your portfolio, but try and recoup your original investment. If you've at least doubled your money, really consider selling off, you know, increments, like smaller increments, until you reach, you know, what your original investment was, you know, minus the capital gains tax or whatnot, or, you know, income tax or the short-term capital gains tax if you sold it before, you know, a year went by before, you know, after you originally bought it. So, you know, once you get back to your original investment and you have that, just leave what you have, like, left in the market. You know, you're playing with house money. That removes a lot of anxiety. I call that, you know, I call it the investor, oh God, sorry. I kind of call it the big money butterflies or whatever. I forgot what I called it, but I call it that. Like, you're anxious about losing money. Of course, no one likes losing money. No one likes seeing, you know, if you sold a little bit later, you would have made more money. Just, you know, get yourself out of there. Like, you know, just get yourself steered clear when you know, you're out of the market and you have your original investment. Then you don't have to worry about, you know, any losses from there. I mean, it's not great, but, you know, you have your money back. So, you know, you're just playing with house money, and what happens, happens. It's a huge weight off your shoulders. I can personally attest to this. So those are the big tips I have to say. I talk too much, guys. I'm sorry, but that's mixing my financial TED Talk with the first game of Vanguard. So yeah, I'm focusing way more on my investments, you know, as opposed to Call of Duty, but I will still be playing Call of Duty. We'll still be doing, you know, the giveaways and whatnot, the gift card code things. So I will definitely focus more on that, because now I have the opportunity to, because I don't have to worry about school, you know, college, or any form of other job. You know, this is more of a passive means of getting income, but, you know, it still requires effort on my part, but not nearly as much as a normal 9-to-5. So yeah, it's great. So I will definitely be focusing on, you know, content as much as I can, and then way more on giving back to you guys, because that's what I want this channel to be, you know, kind of remembered for. But anyways, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Sorry it was so long. Hopefully something here was helpful. And yeah, like always, guys, have an awesome day. I'll see you guys in the next one.